Hello, this is State Representative Kate Harper coming from the Montgomery County Community College for this legislative report. I'm going to be joined by my colleagues, Representative Tom Mert, Representative Marcy Topol, and Representative Todd Stevens, as well as Congressman Pat Meehan. We're having a Veterans Expo to let the veterans who are either here at the community college or who live nearby in the county get some ideas about services, jobs, and other things available for veterans. So stay with me. If you've got a veteran in the family, pay attention. My name is State Representative Kate Harper, and I'm here with my colleagues, Representative Marcy Topol, Representative Todd Stevens, Representative Tom Mert. We feel it's very important to let our veterans know of the services and other things that are available for them because we so appreciate you and what you have done for our country and what you are continuing to do. So thank you all for being here. Thank you everyone who has come to provide programs and services to the veterans. And I think we should start with a little prayer. And I'm going to invite Chaplain Austin McGuire to come on up and take the mic and go forth, okay?
Our Father, we come to you as your children to offer you our adoration and thanksgiving. We ask your blessing upon our country and all our fellow citizens. We especially ask your blessing of all those assembled here today. We thank you for the people who give support to our veterans and for the veterans themselves. Keep us, O Lord, grateful as a nation for the blessings that are ours. Preserve in our hearts the appreciation of your gifts that inspired our forefathers to set aside a special day of thanksgiving. And may we ever be mindful of your goodness and kindness. Grant that we may forever serve our community, state, and nation for the good of all mankind. May the strength of God sustain us. May the power of God preserve us. May the hand of God protect us. May the way of God direct us. And may the love of God go with us unto this day and forever. Amen.
Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the president of the Montgomery County Community College, Dr. Kevin Pollack. Those of you who got used to seeing Karen Stout have a new face to get used to. And here he is, Dr. Kevin Pollack.
Thank you. First of all, I'm sorry, this is the face you have to get used to. Honestly, the first thing I want to do is I'd like to thank all the veterans and all of our active service people that are here today for your service. It means so much to all of us, so sincerely, on behalf of the college and all of us, thank you. Thank you also to the organizers of this event, Congressman Patrick Meehan, State Representatives Kate Harper, Thomas Mert, Todd Stevens, and Marcy Topol. Pennsylvania has close to 900,000 veterans living here, and Montgomery County has been in the top 5 for the past 10 years in the number of veterans living in the county. Today, we're very happy to host the Veterans Benefit Expo to help educate and raise awareness of the great programs and benefits we have here at the local, state, and federal level. Recently, our college is awarded a Best for Vets of the 500 institutions that were surveyed nationally, and we are listed as the 25th best in the country for two-year institutions, the only one in Pennsylvania on that list, and that is something we are extremely proud of. We have staff and space here at the college dedicated to our veterans, both on the central campus and the west, that meet the over 400 veterans that we have on our campus. There are over 35 organizations here today, organizations like Alpha Bravo Canine, a nonprofit that provides access and training to service dogs, the Travis Manion Foundation, a nonprofit aimed at easing the transition from combat to civilian life, and the Veterans Multi-Service Center, a comprehensive resource center for veterans in the greater Philadelphia area, just to name the few that are here. Thank you all again for this great organizations and agencies for coming out today to showcase your great services, programs for our vets. All of you veterans and all you service people mean the world to us. So thank you very much for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank all of our veterans for your service and for coming out to the program today. Also want to thank all of our providers, the men and the women, and the advocates, the representatives of the various organizations that are here to serve our veterans. Also want to thank the community here at Montgomery County Community College and Dr. Pollack for the great support that they afford our veterans. Also, as you can appreciate, those of us who run the military, the logistics that is required to put together a program like this. And I want to thank Joan Bass, who works for Representative Kate Harper, for the great job that she's done. Can we give Joan Bass a round of applause? The last thing I want to mention is to our veterans that were prudent enough and wise enough to come here today. Transitioning from being a soldier, a sailor, a Marine, an airman, or a Coast Guardsman back to civilian life is not easy. I've done it. And I served in Iraq for 14 months with the 4th Infantry Division in 2003 and 4. And it's very, very important that you are aggressive and assertive and take advantage of the programs and the services that exist for you to help you re-enter civilian life and to address issues, post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injuries, other health care concerns that may have resulted from your serving our country in Iraq and Afghanistan, in Vietnam, in Korea, and the many other deployments that you may have participated in. So please take advantage of these programs and services. And again, we thank you for your service. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you. First, I want to thank Representative Kate Harper for putting on this event. Whenever possible, I like to participate in veterans events. Number one, thank you for your service, for those that were in the service and those that are in active duty. Also to the vendors that are here to provide service to the veterans. And I also want to thank the community college. I was here when we did the ribbon cutting for the Veterans Center, and I want to recognize them for the work that they've done with veterans. I know that my office has reached out to them a number of times, and they've always been willing and very helpful in dealing with issues that are unique to veterans. So I want to thank you again. I'll be very brief. There are other people that need to make comments, but thank you very much, Kate, for organizing this event.
It's interesting. We all, as elected officials, receive inquiries from veterans all the time, and all the service providers in this room have helped our offices in one way, shape, or form in helping our veterans who are returning from service so dutifully and diligently re-enter civilian life. And so my office, we are thrilled to participate in events like this along with Representative Harper's and Mert and Topol and Congressman Meehan's office. And we'll be back anytime the opportunity presents itself. And to the college, this college has been second to none as it relates to educational institutions providing services and outreach for our veteran community. And we lean on them quite a bit, and I know that the services they provide all the students here that are veterans are just, again, second to none, and I can't thank the college for offering those services enough. So thanks so much for having us, and we look forward to being here again. Take care.
Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Congressman Pat Meehan of the 7th Congressional District, recently reelected, in case you were wondering, who's actually helped co-sponsor this event for, I don't know, many years now. And he's always happy to come out and talk to veterans, and thank you for what you've done. And I'd like to turn the mic over now, Congressman Pat Meehan.
Well, thank you, Kate, not only for that kind introduction, but actually for your leadership in continuing to not only have this event, but the way you have continued to grow this event in such a remarkable way. So I attach myself to the comments of all of my colleagues who came before, first thanking those, the deepest of our heart, those of you who have served, and particularly those of you who have served in harm's way, and thanking as well those of you who are here in a capacity serving those who have served. And many of the tables, and you see the broad spectrum of things that are available to veterans who are returning. In this year's theme, I think we often talk about it, but this year in particular, the discussion revolves around a lot of making sure that we are giving appropriate services to our returning veterans, some of whom have now been, for over a decade, 2 and 3 tours of services, where this is the longest commitment of American forces in the history of the United States. And many of these war fighters are coming back trying to reintegrate themselves not only into their communities, but with their families. And one of the first places that we begin to see, especially those who have concluded their tours and their service in the military, is making that transition back. And how do you do it? One of the best places anywhere has been this institution, Montco. And anybody who hasn't had a chance to stop out at the special building that is exclusively for the use of military veterans who are here as students at the campus. I guess in today's parlance, we'd call it safe space, in this politically correct. But honestly, it really respects the ability for these veterans to have a place while they're returning to school to see and communicate with other veterans who are uniquely in a position to know what they went through. And we know why that's so important, because we've seen the tremendous amount of veterans who are returning both with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress. How important it is to have those service capacities to be able to deal with this very challenging problem. I mean, it's great here where we're trying to help a veteran get their education and get back on their feet, but let me just focus on two quick things. Because we have the great successes when we see somebody that comes back, gets reintegrated in the community, moves on, takes their military skills and finds some way to apply it in the private sector. And that is exactly what we hope happens. But some are coming back and the war is still going on for them on a personal level. And I had the great privilege of working with Todd, who was a prosecutor, and the former district attorney, who's now a judge, but here in Montgomery County, and when I was a district attorney in Delaware County, beginning the implementation of veterans treatment courts, and recognizing that sometimes some of these veterans who are returning, they find themselves in situations, oftentimes not serious, violent events, and they're before a judge in a criminal proceeding. And we appreciate that that may not be the appropriate place. And there has been the creation of special judges who will sit and work with the district attorney's offices and try to transition appropriate cases so those veterans have their matters resolved in front of the veterans treatment courts. And the great thing about it is that sometimes the ability for that judge, working along with the prosecutor and defense counsel, to compel treatment for a veteran who's too proud to be able to tell somebody else that he's hurt. And this gives us a chance to save them. And that's really what it's all about, the discussion that you don't leave a warfighter back on the battlefield. Let me just conclude my remarks by saying I've worked very, very closely in this most past Congress on an extension of that. And it's called the Veterans Fairness Act. And a guy named Mike Kaufman, who's one of the people that I really respect the most, he's a combat veteran from Colorado. He was a leader of thousands of troops during his period of time in the service in Afghanistan and Iraq. I think he uniquely appreciates and understands the men and women who served underneath him. And many of them come back, and oftentimes within the context of something that happens, they may lose their status. They may lose their status in which they are dismissed from the service in less than honorable circumstances. So what happens then? They lose the ability to have any of the benefits associated with that. And imagine that you have somebody who's done 3 combat tours and then comes back in this country and says, it's because you smoked some dope on the ride back on the boat. You've been discharged, and by the way, we don't have anything for you. That's an injustice. And Mike has been leading, and I've actually taken a very principal role as well, in creating legislation that would say where there is medical demonstrated proof that some acts on the part of these veterans can be tied back to the stress or other kinds of medically identified issues, that there will be an opportunity for a reconsideration so those veterans just are not summarily dismissed because we see them and they've got a heroin problem, or they're dealing with, as we said before, the after effects of the emotional impacts, or getting into bar fights because of the post-traumatic stress. We have all of these services at the benefit at the Veterans Service Centers, but we can't take advantage of them because legally the two don't connect. This bill is designed to make sure, once again, we don't leave our war fighters behind. Thank you for what you're doing to make sure that that doesn't happen as well. Each of us just continue to take a little piece of this big approach, and we can make a difference for those who have made such a difference for us. Thank you for all that you do. Tremendous work, Kate. Thanks.
I will just close by saying that I have read that 1% of Americans are currently serving in our armed forces. Only 1%. So I think that what that means is it is so important for us who recognize the importance of people serving and who recognize the importance of veterans to remind the rest of our communities of the value that you add to our country and our nation. And I'm also very happy to point out that there are many employers who recognize the values that are learned in military service, stand you in good stead when you get back home and are looking for a job. So I give a shout out to Merck. It's in my district and standing right back there. Thank you, Merck, for being here today. They're actively recruiting veterans. Well, I'm here right now with Merck's representative, a military recruiter by the name of Chris Cook. Merck, which is the largest employer in Montgomery County and a world-class company that does pharmaceuticals and vaccines, hires veterans and likes to hire veterans. So Chris, can you tell me a little bit about your job and why Merck looks at veterans?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Chris Cook. I'm a retired Navy Lieutenant Commander. I spent my last 10 years in the Navy in recruiting, and Merck brought me on to recruit veterans for the company. And so what I do is I translate the skills of veterans into the needs of the company. And there's opportunities throughout the company to do that. We have veterans coming into our manufacturing operation at all levels, really, both management and non-management levels, depending on their skills in the military. They come into our sales force just because they're used to operating independently and representing themselves well, and they represent the company well. And we've even brought a few into the research program, some of the research physicians from down at Walter Reed. So throughout the company, we're using veterans.
Is there a particular reason that Merck likes to hire veterans?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, we're such a highly regulated industry, and so we have to have people who are used to operating within that heavily regulated area. So whether it's manufacturing or research, military people come in and they understand how to operate within a very regulated environment, whether it's preparing for inspections, completing audits, making corrections that are based on audits. So they're able to walk right in and understand that.
Now, during your service for the U.S. Navy, where did you go and where were you stationed?
I started out in Pensacola, a student in flight school. I was training to be a bombardier, and I flew off I transferred out to San Diego, and I flew off the USS Abraham Lincoln and the Kitty Hawk. I made 3 deployments out to the Persian Gulf. I came back to Pensacola as a flight instructor and spent 4 years doing that. And then I moved over into the recruiting world. I started out recruiting physicians up here in Philadelphia, and then moved into various levels of recruiting management before I retired in 2011.
I often wonder whether a veteran has a hard time transitioning from the excitement of training and being a bombardier to, a regular day job. What do you think about that?
Well, I kind of did it within the military, where I transitioned from being a bombardier into the recruiting world, which is more of a corporate office related environment. It was probably the most stressful job I had in the Navy, without a doubt. So there really wasn't that much of a drop off on the excitement part of it, but the things I learned in terms of preparing for missions, developing strategies, things like that, I use them every day in the recruiting world.
Now, I know you'll be talking today to some veterans who are interested in working at Merck, but if somebody's watching our video, how could they contact Merck about job opportunities?
If you go out to any veteran career fair in the local area, we're probably attending. You go onto our website. We have a military-specific page on our website. It's actually recently updated. It's got some great stories of veterans who are currently working for the company and the great things that they're doing. And so that's probably the best place to start, is the veteran website. And then we'll also have a calendar of upcoming events and where we'll be and where you can usually find me.
Well, That's great. Thank you very much for talking to us, Chris, and you better get back to the Merck table. Well, I'm here with Montgomery County Recorder of Deeds, Jean Sorg. She has a very important part in this Veterans Expo because her office records your DD-214. What is a DD-214? Those are your discharge papers. Jeannie is here today to do that, and let's talk a little bit about why that matters, why it's a good thing. Why should people do this, Jean?
Well, Kate, it's very important that veterans record those discharges for themselves and their families to make sure they get the benefits they deserve. Sometimes they can get lost when you move, but if you know they've been recorded and recorded permanently, like at the Recorder of Deeds office, then they'll always be available for you same day. You don't have to wait 6 months or 6 weeks or however long it might take to get them from someplace else. You can get them same day. So again, that means the veterans, when they need some important things from their government, or their families need these important things that are due them for being veterans, they can get it right away.
I think that is important, but there's something else about the program that I like. In addition to the fact that this is a permanent record of Montgomery County residents who have served their country, but you also offer a discount, right?
Correct. And going back to this permanent record, it's very interesting. We actually have some records backdating to the Civil War, so it's very interesting. This is definitely a documentation of those who have served from this county. It's awesome. But we do also, for those who record their discharge paperwork with us, as an incentive to get them to do that, we do offer a discount photo ID, which they can use at 500 businesses around the county and counting.
So that's proof that they're a veteran.
Exactly. It is definitely proof of that. So when they go to a business knows that we have checked it out and they do indeed deserve that discount.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of how this is done. Unless they're at a Veterans Expo or another program that you and I have done together to get these recorded for the veterans, how would a veteran record a DD-214 here in Montgomery County?
Any day, Monday through Friday, while we're open 8:30 to 4:15, they can come to the Norristown office in 1 Montgomery Plaza. We're on the 3rd floor, and you bring your discharge papers and your photo ID, and we can do it right there. We are, as you mentioned, taking this on the road a lot. We have done a few of those together this year, and we got a little tour de Montco. We're trying to hit every point in Montgomery County, and we have been around the county quite a bit this year because I know it's not always easy to get to Norristown. So if you're not able to get to Norristown, pay attention to our website, sign up for those emails so you know where we're going to be, or if you can get to Norristown, we'd always love to have you there.
All right, now, Norristown, you said 1 Montgomery Plaza. For the person who doesn't go to Norristown very often, how can they find 1 Montgomery Plaza?
Well, we're right across from the courthouse. We're at the corner of Swede and Erie Streets in Norristown.
And you're open every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30?
Yes, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. unless it's a holiday, like Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what kind of discounts or what kind of stores or companies offer discounts to veterans here in Montgomery County.
It's literally A to Z, everything. We've got everything from, if you're purchasing a home, we've got some realtors who give you discounts. We've got restaurants who give you discounts, anything from a free coffee to 20% off. We have people who do home repairs. We have everything you could possibly imagine on there. And we're always asking that more businesses sign up.
So the businesses sign up with your office to let you know that they'll honor the discount. And do you keep a list?
Yes, you can access that anytime on our website, montgopa.org/ROD, and you can get a hold of that list anytime you want.
ROD stands for Recorder of Deeds, I guess.
Correct.
Okay, then I guess then when they go to the store or whatever, they pull out their record, you give them a card or something?
Yes, we take their picture, we enter their information in while we're entering in their data to record it, and then we print them off a card and laminate it. Then it should be good as long as any of their other cards are good.
All right, now here at Montgomery County Community College Veterans Expo, about how many DD-214s have you done?
Oh, we've had a line all day. I'm thinking we're probably going to be hitting maybe 100 veterans by the end of the day.
Well, thank you very much for your service.
Oh, well, thank you so much for hosting this. It's been absolutely wonderful.
All All right, great. That's all the time we have, and Gene's got to get back to take care of those veterans. Well, that's all the time we have today for the legislative report. I'm State Representative Kate Harper. If you need help with a veterans issue or any issue that the state can help you with, please contact me at my local office in Bluebell. The address and contact information will be shown in just a moment. And don't forget, you can also follow me on Facebook. Till next time, this is Legislative Report.